Hey Lexi, how are you?
Hi, I'm well. How are you?
Oh, pretty good.
Good.
Better than I was a few days ago.
Oh, okay. Were you sick?
Just kind of a cold and combined with allergies and such. It was,
Oh no, that
yeah.
doesn't sound very pleasant.
Oh no, no, not really. So, well, you still have a couple weeks of school left, right?
Yeah. After tomorrow, there's 2 weeks.
Okay, okay, all right. Well, that's so 2 full weeks. Like,
Yeah.
all right. I'm just looking at the calendar. I don't think that's too different than what we have. Um,
May 26th is the last day with the kids at least, and then I have a few teacher work days that last week in May.
okay, all right. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I think my own children are out on the 5th.
Okay.
Or I'm sorry, the 25th. So I'm getting a little bit of like feedback for some reason, hearing myself come back over your line.
Okay. Yeah, and it cut a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're getting out the 25th. I'm looking at the calendar here. But then I think teachers have to work the 26th, but that's it for most teachers here. So.
Okay. Yeah, my last day is the 31st. It's weird. We have to go in for 2 days.
Yeah, that's a little weird. I do have to say.
I'm mentally going to be done on the 26th.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, that's always a tough one. But your kids are probably done already, right?
What was that?
Your students are probably done already.
Yeah, they're done. It's very evident. They make it very known.
Yeah. So do you have projects coming up or tests?
Yeah,
or
that project that I was telling you about with the shelter animals, where I have to do that every semester, so I'll do that the last week.
Okay. All right. Well, that sounds good. And something they're still interested in, and
yeah, they sign up for it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Looks like you have a shelter animal there.
Yes. Yeah. He likes to be involved in everything.
Okay.
So I'm almost done with my website.
Okay, good.
I have to do that introduction with like Powtoon or some other source of media. And then I was going to ask you if you could send me a quote.
Okay.
That I have to put on there, some feedback.
Okay. I can.
And then I should be good to go. So.
Okay. All right.
I'll send that to you before I upload it. Oh, ow. Stop.
I'm just taking a note of that. You're the first one to ask me for that, so. Okay. Yeah, I can send that to you. And so.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and you have your option for Powtoon or pretty much anything, honestly. So even if you have some other cool resource that you said, hey, I like this thing better, feel free.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do yet, but now that soccer's done, I have some time to work on it. So.
Okay, that sounds good. And we still have, well, not quite 2 weeks until colloquium. So.
Yep. Yeah.
So that's still a fair amount of time to get that done and stuff. So, and your one last year was excellent. So I'm sure that yours last year was excellent. So.
Oh. Thank you.
I'm sure that this one will be too. Not that you have to put in hours more work than last year. I'm not saying that.
Okay. And I found kind of a cool format with incorporating mindfulness into it, because that's what I've been working on with my students too. And,
good.
My principal chose me as one of 4 teachers to go to a conference in Dallas this summer.
Excellent.
I don't know if you've heard of Yale's Ruler program.
No, I'm familiar with mindfulness, but I don't. I'm not familiar with that. It's Yale Ruler Program.
It's all the letters and rules.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking it up right now.
I think students how to deal with it. Yeah. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about it.
Are they?
It's like a 3-day conference.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And let me guess, it's the last week of June?
No, it's the what is it? First week in August. So like 3 days before we start school again.
Okay. No, I'm just joking about that because I have currently. I'm going to one conference the last week of June, but there are 7 conferences that are all the last week of June that I said I want to go to that. So,
yeah.
So it seems like everybody's competing for that last week, but yes.
Yeah.
So, no, I'm looking at the website right now. That looks awesome. And so is Yale actually putting on that conference, this group, the Ruler?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Excellent.
Yeah, I think they have like a whole program on campus dedicated to it. So.
No, that's good. I hadn't seen this. This is a good resource. I like that. Yeah. One of the trainings that I do with teachers, it's on balance in your classroom. And so I talk about, an academic balance, what I call academic literacy, so that's whatever that means for your subject area, that you have to have that. And then I also talk about competencies. So those are what we call the 4 C's, creativity, communication, collaboration, critical thinking.
Right.
That those are the competencies that students should be using to access the academic literacies. But then the third component that often gets overlooked is the social emotional component. And that's the component with relationships and those things. And depending on the school that I'm at, I will mention mindfulness if the school has done some work that way. There's lots of different models. So, schools need to find the thing that works best for them, or teachers need to find the thing that works best for them. But it's definitely, if we can keep those 3 things in balance, then what do you know? We will have kids that are well prepared for the future.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I agree because, we've had so many discipline problems this year because students are struggling to deal with their emotions and be patient with things. And we've had so many arrests and, last year we didn't have any drug busts at our middle school, but this year it's almost every week. We're dealing with in the bathrooms and.
There is.
So and I know those things, they're teenagers and those things do happen, but it's just kind of been on the rise this year. And my principal was talking to me about how we have different teenagers now with social media and.
We do. And if anything, they have less maturity, but yet greater knowledge. And that's a dangerous combination.
Yeah. And I didn't have any kids last year that would come into my classroom high on marijuana, but this year I have quite frequently. And so that's when I was like, okay, I need to talk to administration because I feel like this is getting out of control.
Yeah.
And we're on the same page, and he said, well, if you want to help us with this Ruler program, then can do that.
Yeah, I see that right on here, effective decision making, on their website. Yeah. No, that sounds excellent. Were you going to put some of that on to your website?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Just some strategies that I've been using with my students, and I think that because my students meditate when they feel stressed, and they go to the corner because my room is in a corner, and they go outside my door, and it actually helps them I have like a tape that's educational, so I got it approved by admin, and they just listen to it and calm down, and then they come back in. And I only allow them like 3 minutes, so they don't. But
yeah, interesting.
That's working for some of them. It's kind of a weird approach, but
a different or a non-traditional one. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's
so
good.
that's like one of the strategies I've been trying out.
Okay. All right.
And there's no like religious affiliation with it. It's just more of a breathing exercise that they do. Calms them down. So I have a lot of angry kids this year.
Yeah. I've even seen. I was at a school site a couple months ago, and they've actually digitized the process now. They used to have it on paper, but essentially when kids are having, a stressful moment or, some kind of incident, it's actually like a process that they go through to try to identify, what emotions are they feeling, what might be the causes of some of those things. And just as, again, kind of the same thing, try to get them to process their emotions so that they can, change their behavior in a positive fashion, and so that you can get back to the work at hand.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, so they'd actually put it on some iPads, so they would, rather than just send a kid out to, the discipline office or, unfortunately, I see it too often. Teachers just send the kids out of their room, and the kids stand out in the hall, or Southern California here, what we call out on the ramp.
Yeah.
The ramp outside the classroom, which I think is a horrible strategy. It's one thing if you have to stop, some kind of immediate aggression, something that's dangerous, something like that. That's one thing. But I see kids just kind of, hanging out on the ramp for, 20, 30 minutes. That's a disaster. So instead of those strategies, they hand the kid the iPad and they go, here, I'd like you to, work your way through this, and I'm going to come back to you in 5 minutes and let's talk about it, and then we'll move ahead. But
that is good.
Yeah. So that was kind of an interesting one.
Moving up from that environment, because then it communicates that they're unwanted.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So for those,
usually why they're acting out anyways, because they feel that way. So
yeah,
making the issue worse.
Yeah. So as you were saying, multiple strategies, and finding the one, it varies by kid. A lot of times, you may have things that you're very comfortable with using, but it, it may be that, finding the thing that works for certain kids and having some of those options, those are good tools to have. So, okay.
Yeah, I kind of like found recently I guess you could call it PATS. I think it's starting to be